Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be unboxing the Tecno Camon 12 Air. So guys, here's the box. This is the reviewer's box, so that's why it's pretty big, and the box packaging has a Diwali theme going on. And on the front, we have the Tecno branding, and at the bottom it says, "Your priceless dot, Tecno priceless dot." Now you also get a quick preview of how the phone looks with that dot notch or a punch hole design, and it does look pretty cool. So this is the box, and this is how it looks on the back. We just got the same pattern going all around. Now once we open the box, over here we have some photographs taken with this phone, and we'll come back to it in a second. Next we have the phone itself. Let me just put that aside as well. And finally we also have a complimentary box which has some bulbs. So these are some clip style bulbs that we get. So let me just put everything aside now. So these are some pictures taken with this phone. Your priceless memories. So it looks pretty cool. Dynamic range looks pretty good. The same with almost all these photographs. In this particular one, skin tones look pretty decent. Background is a bit overexposed but still looks pretty cool. And all these pictures look pretty great. So these are your priceless memories. So guys, here's the box. It is the Tecno Camon 12 Air. On the front we have a quick preview of how the phone looks with that punch hole design, and a quick look at the back as well. Now the main highlights for this phone would be the 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, mainly this punch hole design on the front, triple camera setup, and a massive 4000 mAh battery. So it has a lot of cool things. Now let's have a quick physical overview of the box. On the left side we have some of the highlighting features that I've just talked about, and at the bottom it says Camon 12 Air, and it is supposedly made in India, which is pretty good. Now on the back we have some of the specifications, IMEI numbers, and so on. And finally on the left side we have the Tecno branding along with the phone's name once again, and we also get that 111 promise. That's one-time free screen replacement, 1 month of extra warranty, and 100-day replacement. By the way guys, Tecno is the only brand that offers you anything like this. So this 111 promise is pretty unique to their Tecno phones. And did I tell you, this is a retail phone. So you can buy it in an offline store, and it's only available in one variant. It's priced at 10,000 rupees for 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. It's available in two colors, Stellar Purple and Bay Blue, and we have the Bay Blue color. So guys, now that the box is open, at the top we have the phone itself. Let me just put that aside. This is the Bay Blue and it does look pretty cool. We'll come back to it in a minute. Next we have some IMEI number stickers, followed by a cardboard partition. Next we have some documentation, mainly that 12 plus 1 month of warranty based on that 111 promise. Next we have a quick start guide, user manual, and that's it. Next we have a soft silicone pouch in a plastic cover. Now this is a soft silicone case and it has a cool pattern going on. This is the first time I'm looking at a case like this, especially from Tecno. They usually spice it up a little, and this definitely looks cool. Next we have a SIM card ejector over here and a regular 10W power adapter over here, no fast charging. And finally a micro USB charging cable. So there's no Type-C on this phone even now. It's a regular micro USB charging cable. So guys, these are all the contents of the box. Now let me just put everything aside and come back to the phone. So guys, this is how the phone looks on the back. It has a sticker with SIM card information and IMEI numbers and so on. Let me just remove that. And it still has the IMEI numbers. And now we are done. So guys, this is how the phone looks on the back. And this is how the phone looks on the front with that punch hole design in the top left corner. Now let's have a physical overview. On the back, this phone has a plastic back panel with a super glossy finish. It has a two-tone finish, one color on the left side and another color on the right side. On the whole, it's called the Bay Blue color, and as I've said earlier, it does look pretty cool. At the top left side, we have the camera module with a triple camera setup, followed by quad LED flash, and that's followed by an engraving that says Camon AI triple camera. Beside that, we have a circular fingerprint scanner with a nice depth to it. And finally, at the bottom, we have the Tecno branding. On the front, we get a massive display with that punch hole design, protected by a 2.5D curved glass. We also get a free screen guard pre-applied, which I really appreciate. Now for the sides, on the right side, it has the power and volume buttons made of plastic. They're sufficiently elevated and have a nice clicky feel to them. At the top, it is completely plain. On the left side, we have the SIM card tray housing 2 nano SIM slots along with a dedicated SD card slot. Finally, at the bottom, we have the 3.5mm audio jack followed by the primary microphone, micro USB charging port, and the mono speaker. Now this phone has a thickness of 8.15 mm and weighs 172 grams. In hand it doesn't feel all that thick and it kinda has a weight to it. It's not too heavy, but I can say that it has a bit of weight to it. Now let's check out the free case that we get inside the box. It fits pretty comfortably. You also get a small flap for this charging port and the audio jack for some extra water and dust protection. And this is how the phone looks on the back with the case. Now this case has a raised lip for the camera module, so even when you place the phone directly on its back, camera module is still very well protected. And this pattern, as I've said you, looks pretty cool. It can give you some extra grip and protect your phone from smudges, but that's all. It doesn't offer you a lot of dot protection. Even on the front there is a tiny bit of raised lip, but it's almost negligible. So I will not recommend you to place your phone directly on its face, even with this case on. Now these are the complete specifications. On the rear, it is a triple camera setup with a 16 megapixel primary camera with f1.8 aperture, followed by a 2 megapixel secondary camera for depth sensing, that's to take portrait shots. And finally, it is a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, which gives it 120-degree field of view. For selfies, it is a 8 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture and 81-degree field of view. On the front, it has a massive 6.55-inch IPS display with HD+ resolution and a punch hole design. It also has a new 20:9 aspect ratio, which makes the phone look much more taller. It also has slimmer bezels all around, giving it 90.3% screen to body ratio. Finally, this display is also super bright with a maximum brightness of 500 nits. Now under the hood, this phone sports a MediaTek Helio P22 processor with PowerVR GE8320 GPU. With 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. On the software front, it will be running iOS 5.5 based on Android 9.2. Finally, powering this device is a 4000 mAh battery. So guys, those were the specifications. Now let me turn on the phone and set it up and come back to you in a second. So guys, this is how the phone looks once we turn it on and set it up. This is the default launcher, default wallpaper, and this is probably limited to India. It has a peacock in it, and as you can see, that punch hole design has been really very well covered in the feathers of the peacock. So this is the default launcher and you can just swipe up for the app drawer just like on most Android phones. Now let's check out the storage information. Out of that 4GB of RAM, we get about 2.49GB of RAM free, and out of that 64GB of storage, we get about 54GB of space for our user apps and user data. Now for the about phone, this phone is running iOS version 5.0 based on Android 9, that's Android Pie, and right out of the box it has the August security patch, which is pretty decent. Now let's check out the camera interface. Now this is the interface for the rear camera, and right now it's using the 16 megapixel primary camera. Now over here we have some extra options. The first one is 1x zoom, that's the default one. Next we have 2x zoom, so that's digital zoom. Now we are using the 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and finally this is the macro mode, which uses the same 5 megapixel wide angle camera to take macro shots. Now for the rest of the user interface, on the left side we have the video recording mode, and we can record video at a maximum of 1080p resolution at 30 fps, and that's all. There's no 4K support. Next we have beauty mode for the rear camera, and bokeh mode, that's rear camera portrait shot. Next we have AR shot, and finally panorama for the rear camera. Now over here we have a dedicated button for Google Lens. Just click it and now you can search for anything using your camera on Google. And here's a quick preview. Now this is the interface for the front camera, and by default we have the AI camera mode and there's no way to disable it. Next we have video recording for the front camera, and we can record video at 1080p resolution using the front camera as well. Next we have a dedicated beauty mode for the front camera. Next we have portrait mode, that's portrait selfies. Next we have AR shot, and we can get some cool effects like that. And here are some more. Next we have wide selfie, which is panorama mode for selfies. You just take a picture and twist your phone left and right to get a wide angle selfie. So that's a pretty interesting feature. So that's the camera interface. Now these are some sample pictures. Now let's check the speaker loudness.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and seeking human victims.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time.
So guys, speaker on this phone is pretty loud, but at maximum volume there is a bit of distortion, so you can set it up to 80 or 90% and have pretty good audio experience. It is loud enough for media consumption, ringtones and alarms. Now as you have seen while watching a video, you can swipe from the left side corner to get a sidebar. Now this gives you access to some quick actions over here and quick applications over here. We can also access the sidebar even when you're using the phone in the portrait orientation. We have an indication for it over here, and when you swipe over it, we get the sidebar. Now let's test the face unlock feature. I already set it up, so here we go. Face unlock is pretty fast. It's not as fast as Oppo and Vivo phones, but still it is pretty fast, probably the second or third best out there. And in good lighting conditions, it is super fast. I can still see the lock screen, but it's just for a split second. Now let's test it in low lighting conditions. As you can see, in low lighting conditions, it is trying to increase the screen brightness to read my face. And sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's a bit slower. It mostly depends upon the lock screen wallpaper. Now let's test it in complete darkness. And even in complete darkness, it works and it is pretty fast. It's not super fast like in good lighting conditions, but it is still definitely usable. So guys, that was face unlock feature. Now let's test the fingerprint scanner. I've already set it up, so here we go. Even the fingerprint scanner is pretty fast. Not as fast as the Oppo and Vivo phones, but still pretty fast and definitely usable. So guys, that was the face unlock feature and the fingerprint scanner. Now before I conclude, these are the Antutu benchmark scores. For some reason, Geekbench was not working on this phone. So guys, this is the new Tecno Camon 12 Air. At a price tag of 10,000 rupees, it is probably not the best phone out there, especially considering the online competition. But if you're just looking at the retail phones, this is the cheapest phone that comes with a punch hole design. And as you can see, bezels are also quite slim all around. So guys, if you're looking for a retail phone under 10,000 rupees in a retail store with a cool punch hole design, then this is definitely a pretty great choice. I know performance on this phone isn't that great, but for a normal user, it is definitely sufficient. And as I've told you earlier, Tecno phones have really good OS optimization, and in my initial usage, everything was pretty smooth as well. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video. If you want to know more about this phone, link for that is in the description. Do check it out. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.